Today we're going to talk about what to do if your wife is having an affair. We're going to discuss affair partners and why they happen. And be sure to stay to the end of the video because I'm going to walk you through a 3-step process that you can take that's actually going to put out the fire that she has for the affair partner and rekindle the romance with you. Welcome to the channel, everyone. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Mindy, and I work with men in long-term relationships to empower them with the right skills, knowledge, and mindset needed to transform their love communication style to repair and rebuild their relationship. So if you're trying to rebuild your relationship right now, definitely click the subscribe button and hit that little bell notification button so you can be notified every time I release a new video. But really, let's get started, and let's start by breaking down exactly what an affair partner is. Women have affairs for different reasons than men have affairs. A lot of times men have physical needs and they have affairs because they need those physical needs met. Now for women have affairs because we need our emotional needs met. And so an affair partner, yes, obviously she's having an affair, but I prefer to call it a transition because what's really happening is the woman is transitioning her emotions that she has for you to this other man. And that's really dangerous territory to get into because a woman will stay in a relationship for a very long time, not having her emotional needs met. But once she gets a taste of those emotional needs that she's been lacking for so long, it's going to be really hard for her to close the door to that. And that's why I call it a transition. She's transitioning her emotions from you to this other man. So now you want to ask yourself, why? Why is she transitioning her emotions from you to this other person? Have you created an environment where she can come and talk with you openly? And 9 times out of 10, the answer to this is no, you haven't. A lot of times, the reason women are transitioning their emotions is because for so long, when she's tried to talk with you, you're either getting angry at her, you're getting defensive with her, maybe you're gaslighting her, maybe you're turning around how she's feeling and making it about yourself, playing the victim and saying, well, I only did this because you did that. Or maybe you're just stonewalling, shutting down, not communicating whatsoever. So if you've done any of these things, all of that is creating a very unsafe environment for her, because if she's coming to you and you're reacting in any of those mannerisms, you've basically punished her for having an emotion. In one way or another, you've punished her. And when someone is punished as an adult long enough, they're tired of it. They don't want to be punished anymore. So if she's still over here fighting for the relationship with you and still trying to communicate, and all of a sudden this other dude, the affair partner, comes along and he's suddenly listening to her. He doesn't get angry with her when she's trying to communicate with him. She might even be using him as a soundboard. She might actually start to transition her feelings from you to him because he's taking the time to hear her and to have a conversation with her about how she's feeling. So when he is over here being open, not getting defensive, not getting angry at her, and in your defense, I understand. When somebody is trying to communicate feelings, oftentimes they don't do it in a productive manner, and instead it comes across as they're attacking you. And it's natural to have certain reflexes and reactions when you feel that you're being attacked. Now that you're having these reactions, she can no longer talk with you about it. So she's coming over here, she meets this other dude. This other dude, because he's not as invested as you are, he has nothing to lose at this point. So it's coming across as open, non-confrontational, and she really feels safe and heard. And when that starts to happen, that's when those feelings that she has for you starts to slowly trickle over to this other guy. So you don't want her trickling all her feelings over to this other guy. You don't want her transitioning her feelings over, and you don't want this affair to continue. So let's say that the affair has turned into an actual transition breakup style. She's actually broken up with you. This other guy looks like he's the best thing since sliced bread, and she wants to start this relationship with him. What do you do? What do you do if she's continuing the relationship with him and you know about it? What do you do? Well, I'm going to start walking you through the 3 steps to take. And really, these 3 steps are going to work whether she's moved in with this guy or if she's still living with you and seeing this guy, because the steps are the same. So the first thing that you're going to want to do, and this is going to be contradictory to what a lot of other relationship coaches are saying, but what I'm going to ask you to do is I'm going to ask you to take off that bulletproof vest. I'm going to ask you to lower your shield, because the reason she is transitioning her feelings to somebody else, the reason that affair partner has been able to come in and swoop her over, is because you've had this shield up for so long that you're protecting yourself from being vulnerable. And she can't get inside because you've got that shield up. So when you're angry, that's a shield of your true emotions. When you're defensive, that's a shield. You're hiding behind your real feelings. A lot of times what happens is when somebody has an issue or a challenge with us and they bring it to our attention, it hurts. It's like someone saying, wait a minute, you're not perfect. And feeling that we have let down a person that we really care about is extremely hurtful. And because it's hurtful, a lot of us, we don't react the appropriate way. Instead, we lash out back. We get angry, we get defensive, or we shut down. And when we start to do that, it's a shield. All it is a shield that we have put up to protect ourselves. So what I ask you to do is the very first step is lower that shield. You're already hurt because she's with somebody else. You're already hurt. Feel it. Be vulnerable. Allow yourself to feel it. Allow yourself to feel the pain. You have to allow her to be able to get inside where it hurts. Okay? You have to. You just have to. Because if she can't penetrate inside of you and you can't really take her in, how can you embrace her feelings truly? Because if you can't be vulnerable with her and you can't put down that shield and you can't take off that bulletproof vest, how are you truly going to be able to open yourself up to seeing things from her perspective? You're never going to be able to, because you've put this block on yourself to keep yourself from getting hurt. And in a lot of relationships, they're breaking up because we keep doing this. We are perceiving our partner having a challenge as they're going to break up with me. Oh, they don't really care about me. They don't really love me, or fuck them, I do so much for them. They shouldn't feel that way. I mean, we get angry. We get defensive. We turn it around. Well, if you would have done this, I would have done that. Well, you know what? Maybe not. Maybe you guys just get so stuck in the rut of life that things start to fall apart, and guys a lot of times don't really like to handle it. You guys kind of think that if you ignore the situation, that it's just going to resolve itself. And that's not how women work. We need resolutions. We need problems to be solved. We need to be heard. We need to be validated. We need to be understood. And when you start to put that shield up, you're not doing any of those things. So the very first step that you need to do, if you're going to have any chance at putting out that flame with that other guy, is you've got to learn to be vulnerable. You have to learn to be vulnerable, and you have to allow yourself to be okay with what it is that she has to say to you. Whatever challenge it is, you have to be okay with it. You have to be able to embrace it. That's the major reason that her feelings are transitioning to this other guy, because she was able to get through to him. He's there listening, having that shield lowered, and taking in all of her feelings. All right? So it's going to lead us to step 2. And step 2 is shifting your mindset. And I want to shift your mindset into one of looking at this as a growth opportunity. I want you to look at this affair in a positive light. Because think about it this way, up until the affair and up until her transitioning her feelings to this other guy, you guys have been in a rut doing the definition of insanity, which we all know is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. Well, chances are she was doing the same thing with you over and over again, expecting different results. Nothing changed. There was no growth on your end. You kept that shield up. And so she transitioned her emotions. So that's why I want you to shift your mindset and perceive this as a positive growth opportunity. You're finally doing something different. You're not doing the definition of insanity, the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. When she transitioned her feelings, she ultimately broke the definition of insanity to do something else. So it's important to view this as a growth opportunity, as something positive, as something like, okay, we're out of this rut now. We're done doing what we were doing, because obviously that was not working. Even if you thought it was working for you, it obviously wasn't working for her, because had it been working for her, she wouldn't be elsewhere. So I really recommend shifting your mindset. And I know that that's really hard. You're feeling hopeless right now. You're feeling broken, confused. You're having a lot of feelings. And so me sitting here telling you to be positive and look at this as an opportunity is a really hard sell. And I understand that, but it's essential in getting her back. Because if you stay in this victim mindset and you don't allow yourself to be vulnerable and you stay being depressed about the situation, angry, if you allow yourself to go down that rabbit hole, that deep, dark rabbit hole, you're never going to get out of it. And she's never going to stop transitioning her feelings and falling for this other guy, because where are you? You're over here in victim mindset, in negativity city. Nobody wants to be with that. So necessary to shift your mindset and to look at this as a growth opportunity with her. And it might not be right now, it might not be tomorrow, but this is a growth opportunity. This is an opportunity for you to be able to look at your share of the reasons why this happened, and to be able to alter your perception of how things were. Because when you're stuck in it, you get this preconceived notion and it's really hard to get out of it. So that's why I recommend shifting your mindset. Look at this as a growth opportunity. Think positive and think about, wow, I have a new opportunity now to be vulnerable and to grow. And that's going to lead us right into the third step, which is identifying what exactly it was that she was lacking. Because when you're stuck in the definition of insanity, you guys are doing the same thing over and over again. You're stuck in that negative mindset. You're incapable of being able to think outside the box. Now that you're looking at this as a growth opportunity, you can now look at this with a different perception to the situation, and you can really try to see her perspective. And you can identify what it was that she was emotionally lacking. How were you reacting when she was coming to you with challenges? In step 3, it's crucial to identify what exactly she was lacking. And if you think back to a lot of your arguments and to a lot of things, your talks that you had the shield up for, it'll come to you. It'll come to you what exactly she was asking for, because women, we're not that complicated. We really will just come to you and tell you what it is that we need, especially when we're older. When we're younger, yeah, we might play games. We have a hard time learning how to be a woman. But once we get into the woman stage, we are telling you straight up what we want. And a lot of you guys are just putting that shield up and it's just bouncing off. So that's why I say put that shield down, be vulnerable, then look at this as a positive growth opportunity with her. And then step 3, you're able to identify what was really bothering her. Why was she transitioning her emotions? What is he giving her that you weren't giving her. A lot of times it comes down to a love communication mismatch. You're offering her love in a way that's not how she's naturally receiving it, and you guys are mismatched. So I always recommend taking the love lingo quiz and then taking the love jargon quiz and really figuring out how you specifically receive love yourself, how you show love, and then you send her those quizzes and you determine what exactly fills her up emotionally and how she shows love emotionally. Because a lot of times, a lot of these miscommunications are all boiled down to the fact that someone's showing love in a way someone else is not accepting or realizing it. And what this person needs to feel loved, this other person, well, it's not natural for them. So because it's not natural for them, they don't do it often enough to fill the tank. So that's a lot of times what it boils down to. And when there is a new person in the mix, well, that person is more than likely, because they're in honeymoon stage, they're offering all of the love jargon, which will naturally fill up your partner's love lingo tank. So always important to keep that in mind as well. So if you can really follow these steps and start taking these steps, and I know they're hard, it's not going to happen overnight. This is not an easy task to do. By following these 3 steps, she's going to start to see growth in you. She's going to start to realize, oh, wow, now when I tell him how I'm feeling, he's vulnerable. He's listening. He's creating a safe place for me to share my emotions. And he's positive. He's not putting me down for this other guy. He's not being rude to me. He's not treating me like crap, which I probably deserve because I got this other guy, but he's not doing any of those things. He's really shown growth as a person. And when she sees that you've grown, that's when you're going to have the opportunity to start offering to her what it was that she was lacking. But you have to follow step 1 and step 2 first, because if you don't go through the first 2 steps, you're not going to be able to have the opportunity to provide her what she's lacking. And when she's over here with this other guy, if you and her have history with each other, chances are she wants it to be you. She wants it to be you. But she just got to a point where she couldn't run on empty anymore. Her love lingo tank was on empty, and she needed to be filled up. And this other person started doing it, and even if it was wrong, she needed the gas. She needed the gas. She couldn't help herself. And again, I'm not justifying it. I don't personally think it's okay to have affairs. I prefer people to do desperation breakup styles or termination breakup styles, but that's not the reality. The reality is a lot of people are people who are transitioners. They will stay with someone for a very long time if they're unhappy until someone else comes along to fill that tank. And that's just how they're wired. They don't have any intention to leave. They will sit there and they will run on empty forever until someone starts putting gas in that tank. And when someone starts filling up that emotional tank, that's when they realize, when that spark is ignited and they realize, oh wow, I have been unhappy for so long. But people who are transitioners in their breakup style, they don't necessarily realize how emotionally unfulfilled they were. And that's why, because they don't realize it, they still have love for you. It's just they needed that emotional gas. Look at it from that perspective, and it's really going to help you get into a more positive mindset about it. And I know right now, like I said, you're feeling really hopeless, depressed, confused, broken. But if you follow these steps, she's not going to want the gas from this guy over here anymore. She's going to put that flame out, and you're going to reignite the romance with her. So definitely start working on those steps. So a lot of you guys are thinking to yourself, well, that's great. You've told me what to do, but I don't know how. How do I do this, Mindy? How do I lower my shield? How do I become vulnerable? How do I shift into a positive mindset when she's broken my heart and she's with somebody else? How do I then identify what she needs when I'm so broken and so devastated? How do I do these things? If you're really struggling with the how, I invite you to book a call with me. I offer 30-minute free coaching consultations to see if a coaching program to help you with the how could be beneficial for you. So if you are struggling with the how and you're really, really desperate to save this relationship and you just really need help with the how, book a call with me. The link is in the description of the video. So I hope this video was useful, guys. If it was, definitely hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and also hit that little bell notification button to be notified every time I release a new video. As always, everyone, stay happy, stay healthy, and let's focus on falling back in love.